Okay, hello. We got to talk again about some news. And News 12 actually covered this very important story, and I'm glad they did cover it because it involves New York State and the purge of the disabled from New York State. It is happening. It is a real thing, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna look at it in this story coming up here because the governor here, Governor Cuomo, apparently his eviction moratorium does not apply to people with disabilities in programs and group homes. So let's go ahead and look at this story here from News 12. And yes, News 12 covered this and they gave it over 2 minutes. So News 12, we'll credit News 12 when they did it right. And they did it right because this is a very important story and I'm glad they covered it and I appreciate they did. So it says there was no warning. 3 men with disabilities are facing evictions from a Center-Reach home. So this is the letter that they got here from New York State at Long Island DDSO. I would like to inform you that the residence located at, obviously it's grayed out, is a leased property that has expired. The state will not be entering into a new lease agreement. Additionally, this location is unable to recruit and maintain staff and presently relies on high overtime to ensure health and safety of the individuals. The agency recognizes that we must provide a more sustainable solution and therefore offer the individuals residential opportunities suitable to meet their needs at other available locations within the facility. So you can see here that people are getting forced out. And I think there's a little more to the letter here. A little more. Let me just back this up a little bit. You're going to be able to see this letter a little more here. Our treatment team would like to work with Paul Yu and his care coordination team on discussing our current homes that have placement opportunities. And you know they're all going to be in Morris areas. As we have a fixed number of homes with vacancies within our agency, we will look closely to determine the locations that will best meet your loved one's needs as well as our ability to keep them close. So this is the letter that was sent to them. I'm glad News 12 is covering this. We're going to read the article now from News 12. It has been deemed as a safe haven for 3 men with severe disabilities, but now their families say they must face eviction from a home following a surprise notice from the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities. Now, Diane Sabalski says her brother Paul has severe autism. She says their parents, who died 4 years ago, were Paul's biggest advocates, doing everything they could to keep him from being institutionalized. My parents gave up their entire lives, says Dylan Sabalski. Their whole life was dedicated to my brother Paul. She had this home specifically designed for Paul's needs and the needs of another client. She says Paul has lived in a Center-Reach home for nearly half his life and has flourished there. Dean was shocked when she received a letter from the state's Office for People with Developmental Disabilities stating that the home is a leased property and the state will not be entering into a lease agreement. In other words, Paul and the 2 other men, who all have the same disability, will have to find another place to live. Completely out of the blue, in the middle of a pandemic, there was no warning, said Dean. They didn't even tell the staff members, the direct support personnel. They had no warning at all. Anna Judah's son, Constantine, is the other original resident of the home. He had been moved out of 7 group homes before going there. His brother said his erratic behavior was sometimes challenging for many to handle, being there led to some changes. It's not fair to him or the family or for those who work and manage him, said Anna Judas. Peter Judas said to move them now out of the place they've seen so much success sweeping a problem under the rug and possibly starting a challenging cycle all over again. News 12 reached out to the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities with a comment, but the calls have not been returned. Well, their number is right here, folks, so you can call this number, 631-326-4492. The public needs to speak up for these guys. They need to stay in the home that they're in right now, all right? First of all, there's a moratorium on evictions. That should also apply to people with disabilities, all right? So if I were the guardians and the people involved in this, I would not leave that house because you have every legal right to stay in that house right now. But this is a clear example of how this governor is forcing people out. This is what's happening. All right, it's a different program than mine, but it could happen to my program too. And then what? They're going to say, "Oh, sorry, John, you're going to have to move somewhere even worse." and then I'll have no choice but to move to New Jersey. But this is what they want. They want to force us out. This governor has been against people with disabilities since day one, since he got in office, and it's just getting worse. I thank you, News 12, for covering this. I really appreciate it. I bashed News 12 earlier today, but man, this was a good story, and I'm glad they did this for us. Because people with disabilities are under attack on Long Island. They're taking away our transportation. They're taking away, and now they're trying to take away our housing too. This is what's going on in New York State. This is the purge that we must fight against. All right. So again, the people in the have every legal right to stay there. And at this point, if you have any questions, please contact Shakol Allen, DDP IS 4 for the North Washington IRA at 631-326-4492. I urge my viewers, give this person a call. We need to speak up, and Paul and his roommates need to stay exactly where they are in Center Reach, where that house is. All right, they have a right to stay there. There's a moratorium on evictions. And you don't do this to disabled people in the middle of a pandemic. This is how cruel New York State is to people with disabilities, and it's on a freaking outrage. They really do want us out of this state. It's not a fiction. It's a reality it is a sad reality that people with disabilities are facing in New York State, thanks to Governor Cuomo and thanks to the people running New York State. Governor Cuomo is the worst, and we'll just put him up here as well because Andrew Cuomo. Because he is by far, like I said, the worst governor that we've ever had in this state, especially to people with disabilities. He's just pricing us out. He is getting rid of us. He is getting rid of us one by one. He is getting rid of us out of New York. That's what he's doing. He's purging us out. He is purging us out. That's what's going on. We are being purged out of New York, whether it be ruining our towns, whether it be all the other stuff going on, and literally taking away the programs we rely on. So the 56th governor of New York, by far the worst governor this state has ever had for so many people. This is an outrage, and I'm very angry about it because I know I could be next. Anyone with disabilities could be next and have their housing taken away from them because New York is forcing us out. And we must fight back. We must speak up. And again, thank you, News 12, for doing exactly that. Take care, and thank you for watching.